Your Excellency, President Nana Akufo Dankwa Addo of the Republic of Ghana, honorable ministers from both our two beloved countries, Ghana and South Africa, high commissioners from two of our countries, senior officials, ladies and gentlemen. We welcome to the second session of the Binational Commission between the Republic of South Africa and the Republic of Ghana. We welcome you with warm hearts. It is an honor, my dear brother, to receive you and your delegation in this most auspicious year of South Africa, when we mark the 30 years since the birth of our democracy. We know that our freedom would not have been possible without the support and encouragement of the people of Ghana. In 1998, President Nelson Mandela affirmed the deep fraternal bonds between our two nations when he said the history of South Africa's struggle, our current day thinking, and even our plans for the future have many links with Ghana. On gaining its own independence, Ghana provided much strength and great inspiration to the liberation movements of Africa. We were deeply inspired by the ideas emanating from Ghana through the person of that noble visionary, Kwame Nkrumah. This second session of the South Africa-Ghana Binational Commission is an opportunity, Your Excellency, to affirm our friendship once again and to deepen our bilateral ties and to strengthen the noble cause of the African economic integration as espoused by the African Union's Agenda 2063. As home to the Secretariat of the African Continental Free Trade Area, which is located in Ghana, this treaty brings together the 55 countries of the African Union and the 8 regional economic communities. In this regard, thank you, Mr. President, for lending your support to the Secretariat, and more particularly to the Secretary General of the AFCTA, Mr. Wamkele Mene, South African son, whom you have made your own son as well. We meet at a time when the state of peace and security is fragile, not just in Africa, but across the globe. Internal strife, conflicts and wars, compounded by terrorism and violent extremism, are a major obstacle to peace, security, as well as stability. They threaten to constrain our development efforts and our recovery from COVID-19 pandemic. The situation in the Sudan, in Somalia, in Libya, and the Sahel, amongst others, are of grave concern, as are the armed hostilities in the eastern part of the Democratic Republic of Congo and the extremist insurgency in northern Mozambique. We have to redouble our efforts to silence the guns on the African continent and to capacitate the African Union and our regional economic communities to to do more in pursuit of peace and stability. This will be an important year for democracy in Africa, with 19 African countries, including our own country, South Africa, and Ghana, holding presidential and national elections in 2024. These elections are important for the quality of governance and the strength of democracy on our continent. We must, however, be concerned that in several parts of the continent, unconstitutional changes of government, particularly through military coups, are on the increase. Global developments such as the ongoing war between Russia and Ukraine continue to threaten food and energy security in Africa. As African countries, with our own bitter experience of colonialism and occupation, we are extremely concerned by the terrible events that are unfolding in Palestine and the suffering that is being imposed on the people of Gaza. Our own continent, the matter of Western Sahara, remains unresolved. As we pursue our own development goals, we stand in solidarity with all who continue to suffer the after effects of occupation and dispossession. So, Mr. President, when we inaugurated this BNC, when you hosted me in Accra in 2020, we were able to advance and deepen the relationship between Ghana and South Africa. I do believe that we continue on this path of strengthening and solidifying the relationship between Ghana and South Africa. We are two special countries on our continent with a shared history in many, many ways. We have been able to reach agreement and understanding on a number of issues that affect the lives of the people of Ghana and South Africa. There are 24 agreements and memoranda of understanding between our two countries covering various areas of economic, technical, scientific, social, and cultural cooperation. This is good. We have to accelerate the implementation of these agreements and finalize discussions and also enter into additional agreements on a number of other issues that are of interest to both our countries, which will help to deepen our relations. One of the recent highlights in our bilateral relations was the signing of the reciprocal visa exemption for ordinary passport holders for a period of 90 days per annum, which entered into force on the 1st of November 2023. This has resulted in a considerable increase of travelers between our two countries, contributing not only to tourism, but towards enhancing business-to-business links, educational and scientific exchanges, and people-to-people ties as well. In addition to the many areas of cooperation that the BNC covers, it is important that we explore how best both countries can increase trade and investment amongst ourselves. The purpose of the business forum that we are going to go to later this afternoon along the margins of our BNC is to expand trade and investment between our two countries. And I believe that the business forum has engendered a lot of interest amongst Ghanaian business people and South African business people, as they see it as a very strong precursor to deepening the relations at an economic and investment level between our two countries. Ghana is host to several South African companies. Our companies are keen to expand their investments in Ghana and look to do so in terms of working together to improve the business environment. We invite investors from Ghana to look at opportunities in our country because opportunities abound. Collaboration between our private sectors and state-owned entities is also particularly important. Bidding for procurement contracts in each other's countries instead of sourcing from outside the continent would be desirable and commercially viable, I believe. South African companies, including several in the banking sector, have expressed interest in exploring opportunities in line with your country's investment plans. There is also scope for collaboration in infrastructure between our two countries, particularly in the building of dry ports, railway networks, airports, and hospital facilities. There are also opportunities to be explored in the pre-chemical sector. And as we are both coastal countries, maritime shipping and related economic activities holds potential for us and opportunities that should be explored further in this regard. We do need to work together, President, to reverse the decline in trade between our two countries over the past 4 years. The implementation of the preferential trading under the AfCFTA is a game changer and likely to fundamentally transform trade relations amongst a number of countries on our continent. On the 31st of January, 2024, South Africa sent the first shipment to Ghana and other countries under the Africa Continental Free Trade Area Agreement. This was an important step. You may be pleased that I released the ship that was carrying goods going to Ghana from the Durban port, and it was a proud moment for all of us, knowing that in a very practical way, we're putting into effect the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, and to do so with a very special country, Ghana, which really is also at the center of our relations, will create great opportunities for growth and development. And Mr. President, I happen to believe that this is a great opportunity for our two countries. We're two that have great ambition to grow through trade. Your country is an importing country. You import a number of goods from various countries and services as well. South Africa also does the same, but we want to import more from you as Ghana, and we would also like to export more to you as Ghana. So I look forward to our deliberations and to the opportunities that will bring the people of Ghana and South Africa. Contact between our two countries is growing exponentially, and people, Mr. President, are falling in love with each other, and some are even getting married to each other. And that in itself is something that we should be proud of. And even in your delegation, I've seen some people between my delegation and your delegation beginning to look at each other in interesting ways. So there is a great future between our two countries. Later, I can point out who I am really talking about. Thank you, Mr. President.
Excellency, President Matamela Cyril Ramaphosa, Honorable Ministers of South Africa and Ghana, ladies and gentlemen, I have first of all, Mr. President, to begin by thanking you very warmly for the affectionate reception that my delegation and I have received since our arrival in the country of the brotherly people of South Africa. It is always good to come to the birthplace of the 20th century icon, Nelson Mandela, the greatest of all Africans. He gave us an example of sacrifice, of dedication to principle, and of devotion to freedom that is without equal in the annals of Africa's modern history. I come with warm greetings from the people and government of Ghana to you, Your Excellency, Matamela Cyril Ramaphosa, and the good people of the Republic of South Africa. As we gather at this Binational Commission meeting, I'm reminded of the profound significance of our partnership, and the current deliberations mark yet another chapter in our shared commitment towards nurturing a relationship built on trust, cooperation, and mutual respect. At the heart of our engagement lies a recognition of the interconnectedness of our destinies. In an increasingly complex and interconnected world, our two nations stand as beacons of democracy and stability, united by common values and aspirations. It is this shared sense of purpose that underpins our efforts across diverse fields, from trade and investment to education and migration, from global health crisis to rising geopolitical tensions, climate change, and economic instability. As we are all aware, the world continues to be confronted by formidable challenges that demand collective action and innovative solutions. In this context, our partnership assumes even greater significance as we strive to address these challenges in a spirit of solidarity and cooperation. As presidents, we bear solemn responsibility to our citizens and to future generations. Since the inaugural session of the Binational Commission in December 2021 in Accra, our two countries have made remarkable strides towards the attainment of the objectives we have set for ourselves. Notable amongst these achievements are the signing of the Agreement of Cooperation in the field of agriculture, with initial contacts being made on the Joint Implementation Committee between the relevant ministers signed during the period, and has progressed to a memorandum of understanding, which will also be signed today. Additionally, to enhance security between our two countries, the Defense Cooperation Agreement was signed in May 2020, engaging each other in the second quarter of 2024. Under the Binational Committee arrangements, the two countries have also eliminated the visa barriers through the Visa Waiver Agreement, which came into effect on the 1st of November 2023, to enhance people-to-people engagement between the two countries for business as well as tourism. And like you, Mr. President, I'm impressed by the increase in the number of exchanges that are taking place between our two countries, to work out whatever little hitches and glitches there are in that increase of exchanges. Indeed, our engagements before and after the inauguration of the Binational Commission have also led to a draft memorandum of understanding on political consultations, which will oversee bilateral issues and the exchange of views on regional and international issues of common interest on a regular basis. I'm pleased to note that the memorandum of understanding on political consultations will also be signed today. It is gratifying to note the cooperation between our two countries is growing as new position papers and draft memoranda of understanding have been submitted by the Narcotics Control Commission, the Ghana Shippers Authority, the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, as well as the Ministry of Fisheries and Agricultural Development for consideration by their South African counterparts. It is thus my hope that further discussions will conclude agreements on these areas and other relevant sectors for the development of our economies. Mr. President, like you, I'm extremely concerned about developments in Israel and in Palestine. The taking of hostages and the killings in Palestine are jeopardizing the prospects of a comprehensive solution to this age-old conflict, which is the advancement of the two-state solution as the definitive solution to this conflict. There is a need for all of us to work together to make sure that out of the current crisis, not only the outline, but the substance of the two-state solution to this conflict emerge. And I'm equally concerned about developments in Sudan, which is witnessing the displacement of tremendous numbers of people, and in fact the flight of Sudanese nationals to neighboring countries, which is in fact impinging even on those of us who are relatively equally concerned, of course, about the stalemate in the situation in the Western Sahara. We had hoped that the re-engagement of Morocco in the affairs of the AU would help in accelerating a solution to the stalemate. The contrary has happened, and it is a matter of great concern, which requires, once again, our collective response. I've come here today, Mr. President, to reaffirm our decision to deepen our bilateral cooperation between the Republic of Ghana and the Republic of South Africa. Together we can achieve great things and build a brighter and more prosperous future for our two countries, our peoples, and the entire African continent. And I thank you once again for this opportunity.
Thank you very much, my President, for those wonderful opening remarks. I do think that the media